Pritchard, the mover of the resolution, I congratulate him on bringing it forward, has called for an end to trade and investment with the illegal settlements in the West Bank. And of course I agree. I think everybody else who looks at this would agree. Others have called for a complete ban on arms sales to Israel, and others have called for a complete embargo on trade. I have no problem with that. My honourable friend for Oxford, forgive me, I can't remember, Oxford East, has said quite rightly the tourniquet around Gaza should be removed. I entirely agree, but be under no illusion. The Israeli government are not in the slightest bit interested in what the British government says or the European Union says. Their only interest is in what the American government does, not even what the American government says. They're only interested in the actions of the American government. And the American government will not allow Israel to go under. The American government is providing over $2.5 billion of arms every year to Israel. They will never allow Israel to be wiped out. And the people who are running Israel, people like Netanyahu, Bennett, Lieberman, these people are all Greater Israel people. They're all settler people. Bennett is the leader of the settler movement. He is their spokesperson in Parliament. They are out to colonise the West Bank. And of course the Americans will say again and again, you're wrong, you shouldn't do it. But when it comes to a veto in the Security Council, America will always veto any proposals that could put Israel, in their eyes, under threat. Mr. Pritchard, I used to believe in a two-state solution. I have to say, I no longer believe it's viable. You only have to look at the geography on the ground. You've got Gaza, which is totally populated by Palestinians. You have Israel, which is overwhelmingly Jewish. You have the West Bank, where 40% of it has been colonised by Israel. And then you have a large Palestinian population in Jordan, as well as dispersed.
I do apologise for interrupting. Honourable gentleman, I'm very, very grateful for him giving way. When he talks about the demographics of Israel and Palestine, can I please implore him not to forget the Christian communities, the Armenian Orthodox communities, the various other communities that do exist there. This is a problem not just of two sides, but of many, many sides.
That's true.
I entirely accept what my honourable friend says. Of course, there are many other religious groups, and that's why the issue of Jerusalem is so vitally important, because Jerusalem is the main place of worship for a whole variety of religions. And anybody looking in would say, well, Jerusalem ought to be like Rome. It ought to be a holy city administered by all the religions. But the Israeli government say it is the capital of the state of Israel. We are dealing with people who, I regret to say, and I've had the opportunity of meeting with previous leaders of Israel. Most of them were members of the Labour Party. But the current leaders of Israel are not the same people as Peres, as Rabin, Golda Meir. These are very, very different people. These are people whose own interest is to...
Characterisation is completely wrong in terms of dealing with the issue of religious freedom. I spoke to persecuted Christians who were in Jerusalem, who said to me in a recent visit, which is on the Register of Interest, which is saying that the only safe place for them to be in the Middle East is indeed in Israel and Jerusalem.
To Godsiff. Well, I hear what my colleague says, and he of course is perfectly entitled to his opinion. But I say again, I believe the Israeli government had no interest whatsoever in having negotiations with the Palestinians and trying to reach a settlement. I wish I could have a better hope for the future of the Middle East, but I'm somebody who despairs day by day more and more that there is going to be a solution. And I fear that the only way there's going to be a resolution is through conflict. That's not what I want. It's not what the people, I believe, in the Middle East want. But I believe that is what is going to happen, because I can't see there is any desire for the Israeli government to negotiate, and I can't see the American government doing anything to undermine the position of Israel. And therefore, Mr. Pritchard, I say again, I view the situation in the Middle East with despair. I wish and I hope I'm totally wrong. I hope I'm proven wrong. I hope that at the end of the day there will be negotiations and Hamas is included in those negotiations, and they have to be included. But I just cannot see it happening. And therefore, Mr. Pritchard, as much as we can wring our hands here and say we should do this and do that, I'm afraid they're not listening in Tel Aviv.
I'm